Merry Christmas 2021. I'm upstairs in Ashlyn's apartment space in front of her Christmas tree that she decorates every year with the ornaments that she's collected throughout the years and been gifted. And she's just a fun, cool kid. And I'm upstairs in her space reading these two stories. One of them she purchased recently called A Southern Night Before Christmas. It's by It's a Southern Thing. They are on YouTube. And they do really fun Southern skits, and she enjoys them. This book is written by Kelly Kazek, illustrated by Michelle Hazelwood Hyde. So I'm going to read this one. And also The Cajun Night Before Christmas by Trosclair, illustrated by James Rice. So Ashlyn bought these this year, and I just thought it would be really fun to read them in the accents. And it started, I was going to send it to my little Irish daughter. Hi, Aoife. And then I said, let's just video it, and maybe nieces and nephews would enjoy it. Maybe future grandkids, wink, wink, Ashlyn and Steven, would enjoy it. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. Now, adults, parents, if you do Santa Claus, you may want to watch this part by yourself. Just because I'm going to explain to you just real quick. We didn't do Santa Claus growing up with the kids. We didn't do the Easter Bunny, and we didn't do the Tooth Fairy. And if there was any other ones I'm forgetting, we didn't do them either. And by not doing them, I didn't teach them they were real. I had Santa Claus growing up, and I turned out fine. But we decided, just in case one or both of the children came to us later on and say, hey, you taught us about Easter Bunny and Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy, and they turned out they weren't real, and we couldn't see them, and we trusted and believed you, and you're also teaching us about Jesus and God, so maybe they're not real either. So we just decided they knew Mom was the Tooth Fairy, we were the Easter Bunnies, and we brought them gifts. And what we did was, instead of writing a Santa Claus, we taught them based on Philippians 4, verse 6. We taught them to pray and ask Jesus for the things they wanted for Christmas, and to also give him thanks for providing their parents with jobs and to be able to buy the presents, and for also to thank them for what they already had. So we use this verse again, Philippians 4, verse 6. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Jesus Christ. So that's where that came from. And that's why we chose to do it that way. And I just threw that, and sorry about the noise. Real quick. We moved here in 1996. My Cajun accent is non-existent. But one of the funny things is Ashlyn loves to watch our home videos. And she laughs and gets such a kick out of the accents that John and I have, and they're pretty funny and strong. So I'm going to attempt to do this in the accent that I would have spoken back then, that she would have heard growing up. Meaning, you could go on YouTube and you could find people with really thick Cajun accents doing this story. I suggest you do that. Some of them are funny. Anyway. So this is just going to be my version. And I'm going to do the best that I can. So if any of my Cajun friends or family are watching this and you go, she sounds off, sorry, I've been here a long time. So this is Cajun mixed with a little Tennessee hillbilly. And then I'm going to try to attempt a very Georgian Southern accent, but let's do the Cajun one first and see how it goes. So, let's get to it. The Cajun Night Before Christmas. I will also add, before I start this real quick, I did change up the names of the alligators. In this book, he has Gaston and T-Boy, Pierre and Alcée, Nanette, Suzette, Celeste, and Renee. Growing up in Louisiana, I never met a Gaston. So I don't know if this author was from Canada or maybe, I don't know. Everybody's different. But what I decided to do anyway is use names that I grew up hearing and some family names just to make it a little more personal. So I hope you enjoy this. And let's see if I can get the accent on. All right. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house they don't a ting past, not even a mouse. The children been nuzzled, good snug on the floor, and Mama passed the paper through the crack in the dough. Then Mama in the fireplace done roast up the ham, stir up the gumbo, and make bake the yam. Then out on the bayou, they got such a clatter, make sound like old Boudreaux done fall off his ladder. I'll run like a rabbit to got to the dough, trip over the dog, and fall on the floor. As I look out the dough in the light of the moon, I think, man, you crazy or got old too soon. 'Cause there on the bayou, when I stretch my neck stiff, there's 8 alligator a-pulling the skiff, and a little fat drover with a long pulling stick. I know right away, gotta be old Saint Nick. Mo faster and faster the gator they came, he whistled and hollered and called him by name. Hi Claude, hi Boy, hi Bourque and Thibodeau, Guy Eldridge, Guy Maurice, Elias and Badeau. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, make crawl, alligator, and be sure you don't fall. Like Tauntflow's cat, through the treetop he fly, when the big old hound dog come a run hisself by. Like that up the porch them old gator climb, with the skiff full of toy and St. Nicholas behind. Then on top of the porch roof, it sound like the hail when all them big gator done sawed down their tail. Then down the chimney I yell with a bam, and St. Nicholas fall and sit on the yam. Sacre, he exclaimed, my pant got a hole. I done sawed myself on them red hot coal. He got on his foots and jumped like a cat out to the floor where he land with a splat. He was dressed in Nutri-Rat from his head to his foot, and his clothes is all dirty with ashes and soot. A sack full of plaything he throw on his back. He looked like a burglar, and that's for a fact. His eyes, how they shine, his dimple, how merry. Maybe he been drink the wine from blackberry. His cheek was like rose, his nose like a cherry. On second thought, maybe he lap up the sherry. With snow white chin whisker and quivering belly, he shook when he laughed like strawberry jelly. But a wink in his eye and a shook of his head make my confidence that I don't gotta be scared. He don't do no talking, going straight to his work. Put playthings in socket and turn with a jerk. He put both his hand there on top of his head, cast an eye on the chimney, and then he done said, with all of that fire and them burning hot flame, me, I ain't going back by the way that I came. So he run out the door and he climbed to the roof. May he ain't no fool him for to make one more goof. He jump in his skiff and crack his big whip. The gator moved down and don't make one slip. And I hear him shout loud as a splashing he go. Merry Christmas to all y'all, till I see you some more. Here's the It's a Southern Things, a Southern Night Before Christmas. So before I start this one, I have to explain to my Irish daughter, Aoife. And the rest of you might think this is interesting and funny. But in this book, they're gonna leave Santa Claus some biscuits. Now, in the real story, they did leave him biscuits, which are American cookies. But in this story, they're leaving him biscuits, which is really biscuits, not cookies. It's actually what you would call a scone, I think. Anyway, so that's an explanation for you. I think I'm going to try to channel Clary, some Olympia Dukakis from Steel Magnolias. I'm going to do my best, Jordan. Now, she was supposed to be doing a Cajun accent, but it came off very Georgian. So anyway, have fun with this one, y'all. A Southern Night Before Christmas. Let's see if I can get the Cajun out of my head now, huh? 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house we were sticky and sweaty, 'cause this is the South. Mom wanted to host a traditional Yule, so she turned on the air so we could stay cool. Our stockings hung neatly all in a row. The logs on the fireplace were mostly for show. Our sleeping bags lined the floor by the dozens, since there weren't enough beds to fit all the cousins. The fridge was stocked with platters and bowls, and 10 covered dishes held 10 casseroles. 6 kinds of cakes met our eager eyes. Then Meemaw walked in with 2 pecan pies. Aunt Ruth was giving each cousin a kiss as the children compared their Christmas wish lists. The twins asked for games. Sue wanted a kitten. Ted wanted whatever Randy was getting. Emma wanted a doll, and Sutton some candy. Ted hoped for a trampoline for his cousin Randy. No snowsuits or sleds or any cold weather present. The winters round here were always quite pleasant. Mom left some biscuits and a glass of sweet tea in case Santa needed a real southern treat. She added ice cubes and a couple of straws, and then all was ready for old Santa Claus. Then a sudden loud noise had the household abuzz, and we all ran downstairs to see what it was. We knew when we heard a clip-clopping hoof, Santa's sleigh and his reindeer were up on the roof. We had no chimney, so he climbed down the trellis, so lively and quick that Papa was jealous. He was dressed as expected in his red suit, but on his feet he wore flip-flops instead of his boots. Santa came in the house and sat down his sack. Then he picked up a biscuit for a much-deserved snack. He unloaded the gifts between sips of sweet tea and arranged them quite neatly under the tree. There are games for the twins and a kitten for Sue, a doll and some candy and a trampoline too. Gifts for each cousin, Santa said with a drawl. Hope you like them, he winked. Merry Christmas, y'all. As he tossed his red sack over his shoulder, he saw Becky Lee and said lightly to scold her, Back to bed, little one. You've got to be smart. Youngins need sleep, bless your sweet little heart. As he ready to go, he saw Becky Lee ponder. Is it true, she asked Santa, that you're from up yonder? From up in the north, where they don't say y'all? Where people talk funny and not with a drawl? Santa laughed and his tummy sloshed with sweet tea. I go north to cool off, Santa told Becky Lee. But don't worry, he said, patting her head. I love the South. Now, off to bed. Before we could utter, You're welcome to stay, Santa was suddenly back in his sleigh. As he flew overhead, he exclaimed in delight, Blessed Christmas to y'all, and to y'all a good night. Merry Christmas. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed that.